First time for a long, long time I'm in bed without taking that little red capsule. If I hide to keep from taking it, the night nurse with the birthmark sends the black boy named Geever out to hunt me down, hold me captive with his flashlight till she can get the needle ready. So I fake sleep when the black boy's coming past with his light. When you take one of these red pills, you don't just go to sleep. You're paralyzed with sleep. And all night long you can't wake, no matter what goes on around you. That's why the staff gives me the pills. At the old place, I took to waking up at night and catching them, performing all kinds of horrible crimes on the patients sleeping around me. I lie still and slow my breathing, waiting to see if something is going to happen. It is dark, my lord, and I hear them slipping around out there in their rubber shoes. Twice they peek in the dorm and run a flashlight over everybody. I keep my eyes shut and keep awake. I hear a wailing from up undisturbed. Lou, Lou, Lou. Got some guy wired to pick up code signals. Oh, a beer, I think, for the long night ahead. I hear a black boy whisper to the other. Rubber shoes squeak off toward the nurse's station where the refrigerator is. You like a beer, sweet thing with a birthmark, for the long night ahead? The guy upstairs hushes. The low whine of the devices in the walls gets quieter and quieter till it hums down to nothing. Not a sound across the hospital, except for a dull, padded rumbling somewhere deep in the guts of the building. A sound that I never noticed before. A lot like the sound you hear when you're standing late at night on top of a big hydroelectric dam. Low, relentless, brute power. The fat black boy stands out there in the hall where I can see him, looking all around and giggling. He walks toward the dorm door, slow, wiping the wet gray palms in his armpits. The light from the nurse's station throws his shadow on the dorm wall big as an elephant. It gets smaller as he walks to the dorm door and looks in. He giggles again and unlocks the fuse box by the door and reaches in. That's right, babies. Sleep tight. Twists a knob, and the whole floor goes to slipping down away from him standing in the door, lowering into the building like a platform in a grain elevator. Not a thing but the dorm floor moves, and we're sliding away from the walls and door and the windows of the ward at a hell of a clip. Beds, bedstands and all. The machinery, probably a cog and track affair at each corner of the shaft, is greased silent as death. The only sound I hear is the guy's breathing, and that drumming under us getting louder the farther down we go. The light of the dorm door 500 yards back up this hole is nothing but a speck, dusting the square sides of the shaft with a dim powder. It gets dimmer and dimmer till a faraway scream comes echoing down the sides of the shaft. Stay back! And the light goes out altogether. The floor reaches some kind of solid bottom far down in the ground and stops with a soft jar. It's dead black, and I can feel the sheet around me choking off my wind. Just as I get the sheet untied, the floor starts sliding forward with a little jolt. Some kind of casters under it I can't hear. I can't even hear the guys around me breathing. And I realize all of a sudden it's because that drumming's gradually got so loud I can't hear anything else. We must be square in the middle of it. I go to clawing at that damned sheet tied across me and just about have it loose when a whole wall slides up, reveals a huge room of endless machines stretching clear out of sight, swarming with sweating, shirtless men running up and down catwalks, faces blank and dreamy in firelight thrown from 100 blast furnaces. Everything I see, looks like it sounded, like the inside of a tremendous dam. Huge brass tubes disappear upward in the dark, wires run to transformers out of sight. Grease and cinders catch on everything, staining the couplings and motors and dynamos red and coal black. The workers all move at the same smooth sprint, an easy, fluid stride. No one's in a hurry. One will hold up a second, spin a dial, push a button, throw a switch, and one side of his face flashes white like lightning from the spark of the connecting switch, and run on, up steel steps and along a corrugated iron catwalk, pass each other so smooth and close I hear the slap of wet sides like the slap of a salmon's tail on water. Stop again, throw lightning from another switch, and run on again. They twinkle in all directions, clean on out of sight, these flash pictures of the dreamy doll faces of the workmen. A workman's eyes snap shut while he's going at full run, and he drops in his tracks. Two of his buddies running by grab him up and lateral him into a furnace as they pass. The furnace hoops a ball of fire, and I hear the popping of 1,000,000 tubes, like walking through a field of seed pods. This sound mixes with the whir and clang of the rest of the machines. There's a rhythm to it, like a thundering pulse. The dorm floor slides on out of the shaft and into the machine room. Right away I see what's straight above us. One of those trestle affairs like you find in meat houses, rollers on tracks to move carcasses from the cooler to the butcher without much lifting. Two guys in slacks, white shirts with the sleeves turned back, and thin black ties are leaning on the catwalk above our beds, gesturing to each other as they talk, cigarettes in long holders, tracing lines of red light. They're talking, but you can't make out the words above the measured roar rising all around them. One of the guys snaps his fingers, and the nearest workman veers in a sharp turn and sprints to his side. The guy points down at one of the beds with his cigarette holder, and the worker trots off to the steel stepladder and runs down to our level, where he goes out of sight between two transformers huge as potato cellars. When that worker appears again, he's pulling a hook along the trestle overhead and taking giant strides as he swings along it. He passes my bed, and a furnace, hooping somewhere, suddenly lights his face up right over mine. A face handsome and brutal and waxy like a mask, wanting nothing. I've seen 1,000,000 faces like it.